Okay. I think we're live.
Thank you.
Tim.
We're here.
Welcome everyone. I'm excited for today's live. For those of you that haven't seen our faces before, or maybe we haven't had the opportunity to meet you, I am Elka Bostwick. I'm a two-star vice president with pawTree, working towards three-star team. And then we have my partner in crime. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, so I am a 3-star VP. We just promoted recently. And for all of you that don't know me, I've been in pawTree for about 5 years now. And we're excited to be here and share some tips that we've learned along our journey. So
Yes, and one of the most common questions that we've been getting on both teams, I guess you could say, because we're sideline brother and sister, and we've been working together for a long time. In fact, Tim always says it best when he says, our teams are just growing identically, and they have for several years. And of course, Tim and I met, and we just hit it off, and so we decided to be pacing partners for the last couple of years, I guess you could say, and we really decided to join forces for you guys because I was always like, Tim, you would add so much value to my team. And Tim would be like, oh, my team needs to hear that, Elka. And so we put these together and we're just really excited. So one of the most common things that we've heard a lot lately is, where in the world do I find people to talk to? Where do we do this? And so last week when we were on last week's live, if you haven't watched it, it was amazing. We had promised to do this live this week. And so we really want to talk about how you can find a team of volunteers and an endless list of customers. Because as Tim and I started talking, we recognized that we both build so differently, but yet each pathway is so valuable because a lot of people come into this business don't have Facebook, right? That's why we're streaming live to YouTube right now, so we can make sure that we get everybody that's maybe not on Facebook. We have people who have built this business before, that have done several things. And so I took a list that I had probably since 2018. I keep updating it with all these different things. And I shared it with Tim, and he had agreed and added a few things to it. And we started talking and we were like, oh my gosh, let's pick our top threes and share what we actually do. And we're going to share this entire list with you. But I think the most important thing that I want you guys to think about today is, which of these items best fits you? You may take a combination of what Tim and I do and put it together. You may look at him and I and be like, I'm not doing any of that stuff, but these three things on the list works. I just want you to know that the list that we're going to be talking about today as well, I am going to be putting it into a document, and I will make sure that Tim has it for his team and my team, Endless, will have it. But we will put this in a PDF document for everybody, just so that you know, so you don't have to worry about scrambling. Just stay here and be focused with us. So I'm going to turn this over to Tim and have him share how he has been able to build his successful business. And then I will share my top three, and then we'll talk about all of the other things that we've done that just haven't fit in our wheelhouse, but it might fit in your wheelhouse. So I'm going to pass it right over, Tim.
absolutely. I'm so excited to be here, guys. This is one of my favorite topics. And what I love about what Elka just shared, and if you didn't catch this, then now's the time to catch it, is that this is your business. So you get to choose to do it how you want to do it. And how cool is that? You don't have someone over your head saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. You get to choose what works for you. And that's what the joy is of being able to do the business like this, because we are running our own businesses. We have an incredible opportunity, incredible products, an incredible company that is giving us the pathway to be able to actually use this to run with. But you guys are the ones who get to decide how you're going to do that. So like Elka mentioned, we've both grown in different ways, though we have very similar teams. So just to show you, there is no right way and there is some wrong ways, but there is there's definitely some wrong ways, but there are a lot of right ways that you can actually choose from. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is some of those ways that have worked for us. And one of them that I wanted to talk about first is honestly content. So content creation is something that I only started doing within the last year, actually. Elka actually has done this for a long time, so she can talk on it too. But I only started creating content about a year ago, and that was because I saw people taking off on TikTok. And we all heard, if those of you that went to Legacy this year, you heard Michelle McCullough, which, by the way, everyone who wants to get into doing content creation should definitely get on those trainings with Michelle. She does one every single week, and she does some other ones that are, I think, monthly. Does she do a different one that's monthly? I think so.
Yep. Yep, they do. And I'll tell you this month, if you guys want to know how to really hard, hit it hard with the $1, she had some amazing ideas. So y'all, we need to like make it a requirement that every pet pro takes that marketing course.
Yes, and incredible stuff. You will not be disappointed if you jump into some of Michelle's training. And those of you who have not registered to go to PawFest yet, please register, because she's going to be at PawFest as well. And I have no doubt that those who go there are going to walk away with some nuggets that's going to skyrocket them further than they'd ever be able to go without that. So I'm really excited to learn more from her. But content creation is something super important. And something Michelle will tell you is that you, again, back to this, how this business works, you decide what works best for you. So whether that is posting on Facebook, doing long posts that will talk about, obviously, we don't want to do the posts that are like, join my team or buy my product, because no one's going to want to do that. That's not building value. So definitely do not do that, but do build value. So whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on Instagram, or whether that's on TikTok or YouTube or LinkedIn, there's a lot of methods people use. I personally originally started on Instagram. I then started using TikTok a whole lot more. And the same thing that I'm doing on TikTok is just building value. And there's a lot of ways to do that. We have so many incredible products to talk about. But on top of that, we have dog issues that we could focus on. There is pet parent issues that we can focus on. And with the opportunity in mind in specific, because we're talking about prospecting, there's a lot of pain points that you can start sharing with of your own personal life. And by the way, people want to see real. So if you're out there and you're sharing your story, whichever way you choose to do that, even blog posts, whatever way you choose to do that, the more real you are about your life, the more people are going to actually want to focus and want to buy from you and want to be a part of that community. And Elka, out of everyone in this company, I literally will say Elka does one of the best jobs. I have anyone in here that does it. She stands out and she's always real about her life. And if you want to see some great content ideas, as far as like posting consistently on Facebook and things like that and watching stories, Elka does an amazing job. And I didn't even plan to say that, but it's the truth. So it really is. There's several ways to make content. Elka does an amazing job on social media. And that's one thing that she'll talk more about when she talks as well. But on top of content, some of the things you guys have heard me share on both team pages, we have live on both team pages, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where can you find that on yours,
It's under, it's in one of our guides, but because we have ours organized in guides, but if you just do a search, I think in either group for cold prospecting, you're going to find a link to the video that Tim is going to be talking about.
Yeah, so I'm not going to dive like a ton into this, but I will say that cold prospecting for me is how I built my business. And I would not be a 3-star today if it wasn't for the fact that I cold prospected. Especially, I did a training last night with another team as well. And I was telling her last night, I spent 6 weeks heavily cold prospecting last year from August through the middle of September. And I'd never done anything before that. I've never done anything after that because it took a lot of work. But I spent every single day reaching out to 70 people at a time. Well, out of that, I went back over my numbers last night. Out of those 70 people a day that I did for 6 weeks straight, obviously that wasn't the only time I talked to them. I was people who answered me, I would follow up with, and I'd follow up with consistently. Out of those people that actually I talked to, 3 of them are now 2 of them are vice presidents. 1 of them is a 1-star. And this is here 6 months, 7 months later from them joining. Obviously, they didn't join right away. But one of those things I really thought of was the fact that out of that dedicated period, I chose 6 weeks to say, okay, I'm going to reach out to people. I'm going to add value to their life. And I'm not just going to send them some spammy messaging asking them to join my team either. I know that this is something that they'd be interested in because of like-minded things. There's all sorts of groups on Facebook you can find people with that are going to have similarities to you that you can help. And again, go back to that training and watch that because we don't need to get all into that. But the cool thing is that there is such a vast variety of ways out there to actually bring people into your team and bring them into your business. And 5 of those people now that I sponsored during that time are also builder legs. So if you're sitting there and you're stuck, if you're stuck at executive director, if you're stuck at senior director, find a way that works for you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It's really, you have to be intentional because this is not a business of luck. I hate to tell you this, but if you're going to tell me every time I talk to you, well, I hope someone joins my team, I'm going to ask you, and Elka's going to ask you, well, what are you doing to make sure someone does join your team? Because if you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs for 5 years, I mean, it's just not going to happen.
And can I also add this too? Like, here's the thing. We're going to give you this huge list of things to do. We know that these lists work, but here's what happens is you're going to look at this list and you're going to go, I don't want to do any of those. What else is out there? Because you have a mindset of doing something that's what is not there. Like, I can't even tell you that 8 years into my business, I'll go to my mentor and be like, I have nobody to talk to. And she'll be like, is that true, Elka? Or is that you're not willing to talk to the people that are in the places you need to look?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys hear that? If not, rewind and listen to that again, because I can't even say it as good as her. So literally though, there is so many ways, and oftentimes, or especially early on in this business, you might find yourself in a mindset which by the way, we're talking about mindset next week, so I'm excited about that. But you'll find yourself in a mindset of thinking, well, I've talked to everyone. Like, there's no one else to talk to. Guys, I've been doing this 5 years, and I have not ran out of people to talk to. In fact, I always feel like, well, if I wish I had like 5 of me to talk to everyone that I want to talk to, because there's just so many people out there who has not heard about what we have to offer, and so many people that are desperately looking for what we'd have to offer. So cold market is another way. If that is something that resonates with you, look up those videos, follow those videos. I guarantee you they work. And if you have questions on that, feel free to reach out to me. The biggest hurdle people find in cold marketing when you're doing it right is the follow-up game. A lot of people don't know how to answer those second and third messages, and I feel like that's where most people will fall off. And even the training I did last night for a team who has been doing this for several months, that was where they were getting stuck on that second or third message. The first message is great, whatever. People oftentimes don't know how to go or where to go after someone answers you with yes. So that's what those videos will help you with. And if they don't help you with that, then feel free to reach out to me as well, and I'd be happy to help. And I know there's several people on both teams who are doing cold marketing as well now. So lots of support as far as that goes.
And can we clarify too, like your cold marketing is on Facebook and through social media? Because I'm going to also talk about cold marketing, but differently. So know that when Tim is talking about his cold marketing, he's doing it through social media, very intentional reach outs and follow-ups, which is going to be slightly different than what I will share.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for clarifying that. The other thing I was going to talk about a little bit was also referrals. So the best time, guys, right now, it's super cool. We talked about this last week. If you haven't watched last week's live, please watch it. It was super fun. But referrals, and this got me thinking of three-way calls as well, because the best time to talk to someone or get more people in your pipeline is right after they purchase something, right after they've joined your team. Those are the two best times. So right after someone's purchased something, hey, do you know anyone that would be open to doing something like I do? Would you be open for someone to, like, do you know anyone that would be open to taking a look at what I do? Obviously, you can ask them if they have, would you be open to take a look at this business? Is this something that you would see yourself doing? If they say no, that's great. Do you guys know anyone that would be open to taking a look at this? And that's another method to really grab in, but also with three-way calls, because right after someone joins, that excitement level is so high. And oftentimes, as a sponsor, I've been guilty of this time and time again. Someone joins and I'm like, yay, they joined. Now I'm going to leave them alone a little bit because I don't want to feel bad about them. I don't want to overpressure them. Like we'll talk to them in like 2 weeks and hopefully they're doing good. So that does not work though, guys. Like, you've got to start being intentional right after someone joins. Okay, great. Who can we talk to? Who do you know? Who can we get on the phone right now? Like, that is the time to actually intentionally blow up your business. That's how my team in the past has gone 7 levels deep in one day, from being intentional and just grabbing people right away. That excitement of saying, hey, let's get someone on the phone. Hey, let's get someone on the phone. Hey, and it works. I'll tell you, there's nothing like the excitement that this business can bring, especially during a $1 enrollment. There's no one that cannot afford $1. No one. I don't care.
But I'm going to throw this in too. Like, have y'all just had one of those times where you're just like, I can't get anybody to join the business and you're just in a funk? Well, the best advice that Tim just gave was sponsoring a new pet pro will literally get you kickstarted again. Their excitement makes you excited again, right? So there's no issue that's out there that sponsoring a new pet pro won't fix. So I just want to say that again because it's beautiful.
I love that. And I love, I mean, there's so many times I've been personally in a funk myself, so many times the same things happen. And you'll see your team is like, "Oh, why isn't my team doing anything? Why are we stuck? Why are we here?" And you can get in yourself, you can get really into like a victim mentality. Like, oh, well, that person over there, they're just lucky. You know, they're Elka over there. I mean, see Amy on the team. I mean, she's just lucky. She's sponsoring 9 people. I mean, she's new. But you can start telling yourself things, but I'll tell you guys something that you will not realize. When you start telling yourself those stories, you know what your brain tells you? That you do not deserve that. Anytime you start comparing yourself to other people and saying they are just lucky, or they are just brand new, that's why they can do that, your brain physically, like scientifically, will tell you, if you actually look at the chemicals inside your brain and you actually do the research about this, it'll tell you you do not deserve that as soon as you start comparing yourself like that to other people. So you've got to step out of that and say, I'm so happy Amy has sponsored 9 people this month. How cool is that? Like, that is so cool. How can I go sponsor one person and help my excitement start building back up? How can I build my team, and what can I do to make that happen? And by the way, maybe I should go ask Amy, what is Amy doing? Because I can just sit here on the sidelines and saying, oh, she's lucky, but we don't see the work that she's putting on in the background, you know? So those are just a couple of my tips quickly that I wanted to share. And again, we're never super scripted or anything. I just we throw things together and we're like, let's just have fun, because this is something we're passionate about. So I hope you guys find value, because I love doing this with Elka, and just the teams combined. It's a lot of fun. So
it is. Drop some fire emojis, whether you're on replay or you're live. Like, if you're loving this so far, drop some fire emojis, because it's hot in here. So I just want to bring up Amy Johnson. Like, Amy Johnson, like, I'm going to say her last name. She has been in network marketing for 10 years. This is not new to her. She actually was in her last business for 10 years before deciding to start over at ground level. Okay. She has a large network that she has been building for 10 years. And now she's just exploring opportunities and doing a ton of reach outs and referrals, friends.
awesome.
Like, that is what she is doing. And she is doing attraction marketing and content marketing. Like, what Amy is doing, exactly what we are teaching you now, and what Tim and I have been doing. Right. So it's always different for everybody. There's people that come in with large networks of people. I will tell you that I came in from the veterinary industry thinking that everybody was going to buy everything. And guess what? It wasn't the case. And just like Tim was like, I did cold market prospecting, I did as well. I just did mine slightly different. And so I'll talk a little bit about my cold market. So when I realized that my warm market wasn't working, I didn't have a dog or a cat myself at the time when I joined 8 years ago. Cedar, Tukey, and Olive have come because of pawTree. So thank you, pawTree. I have my fur babies. But I didn't have that opportunity. So I had to think to myself, how am I going to build this business if I don't have people to talk to? So obviously social media and cold marketing is a big thing for me. But I did a lot of vendor events. Vendor events is what built the foundation, the backbone of my business. My poor husband, bless his heart and his support, I had a vendor event probably every weekend for the first 4 years of my business. And I had built such a strong foundation and learning how to sell, because for me, I'm a face-to-face person. For me, you get me in front of a vendor table and talking to people, I can close people 99% of the time. I will find a reason they need pawTree into their life, and I will either bring them onto the team or I will gather customers. So vendor events were my way of going out and talking to lots of different people and bringing them into my space. And so for me, that was going out, making the sell, and building the relationship post sell with my follow-ups and my customer care. It was letting them know that they needed to buy from me and not another pet pro, that I needed to take care of them so well that they didn't need to go somewhere else. And that was kind of how I did some of my cold market. And I also love business networking groups. I currently am a part of a BNI group. It's a national organization that is very structured with their referrals, and I go weekly and I do presentations and I give my 60-second commercials. In fact, I did my 10-minute presentation today and I got 5 different referrals. That's 5 new people locally that I get to go change the life of their pet and have some pet nutrition consults with. I am a face-to-face person. I love the opportunity to be in somebody's space, right? I love to bring people into my community in that way. But you guys can go to free business networking. There's still, because of COVID, transferred everything to Zoom. there's still a ton of free networking groups that you can go to weekly to meet other business-minded people who are going to be interested in what you do. What's that website? Meetup.com. If you go to meetup.com, you can actually look into local business groups. This was a long time ago, but Trisha Deming, my sponsor, and I, every Wednesday night, we'd grab our dog and we'd hit a different dog park locally. Now, we wouldn't go with intention to sell to people, right? Because sometimes those relationships, people have to know, like, and trust you in order to buy from you, right? And so sometimes we'd go to dog parks and take samples and have conversations and ask if we could follow up with people. It took a lot longer than vendor events where it's kind of like having a storefront where people are coming to buy from you. But we did that for several years. Every Wednesday, we'd go and hit a different dog park locally. I found a business networking group that was called Meet Up with Your Pup. And they met at a different dog park every single week. And it was at like 7:00. So everybody would be home and off of work. They'd grab their pups and they'd head over to the local dog park and talk about the best networking. And guess what? If you can't find anything in your area, friends, freaking create one. Like, get out there and create something of your own. Like, if it's not there, be the backbone of being a creator in your local area, because building locally, I probably have a good 200 customers here locally. And guess what? I've never conflicted with Amber and Trisha and all the other amazing VPs and stars that are in this big radius, because we are such a big, local space. And so those are some of the cold marketing that I have done locally. I love the business networking groups. Being a person of, sorry, my cat's like chasing a moth in my house. I'm like, what is she doing? Being a person of influence in the community has also helped me, because I've been doing this for so long. People now realize that Elka is the go-to in my business networking. The people that I've networked with over here, and I go to another networking group and they're like, oh, I saw you over here 8 years ago. I actually got our customer referral not last month, but the month before, from a business networking group I went to 6 years ago. He had remembered me. He didn't have a dog, but he remembered me. We ended up connecting on Facebook. He got a dog, and guess what? He reached out and called me and was like, I need the best of the best, Elka. What can I do for my little Frenchie? And that was because of the work I had put in 6 years ago, right? And so that was a really fun way that I loved to do it. Cold marketing on Facebook. Now, Tim is talking about intentionally reaching out to people and creating content. Thank you for the compliment, Tim. I received that. I've worked really hard on my social media and doing what's called attraction marketing. Now, no, if you have 100, 300, or 500 people in your Facebook group, in your Facebook timeline, like if that's how many friends that you have, Facebook's my jam. I'm not cool. I'm working on my TikTok kind of story. Instagram is the shits. I'm just going to be honest. Forgive me for the language. I'm not very good in that department, but Facebook is my jam. And I'll tell you right now that if you don't have a lot of Facebook friends, don't expect to get a lot of sales. 100%. You can only sell pawTree to 150 friends so many times before they're like, I am so tired of hearing about that chillax for $24.99. I'm just done. I can't do it anymore. You have to expand your mind. And so I took the attraction marketing approach, really hit the ground. It would have been when April Pertwee and Alexandra Takeda came to our legacy. When was that?
2020, January 2020.
It was 2020. Okay, so in 2020, I hired April Pertwee and Alexandra Takeda to coach me prior to pawTree hiring them. Little disappointment there, but nonetheless, I feel like it was a valuable thing for me to learn. So I took a 4-month course with them, and I loved what they taught me about attraction marketing. So what does this look like? This means showing up, being 100% authentically me all of the time. And what I have learned is 1 in 3 posts has anything to do with my business, right? I want people to come to my Facebook profile as I'm out there networking, because my Facebook profile is my business card, right? Somebody says, oh, what's your business card? I'm like, oh, find me on Facebook. Everything you need is there. I bring everybody to my Facebook timeline. I want them to get to know me. I want them to see if I'm a good fit for them, because I'll tell you that there's a lot of people that come to my timeline and they're like, oh, she is loud she is a little too much for me. And then I have others that are like, yeah, I don't fit with her. Like, they're not my people. That is okay. That means that Tim's their people, Nadia's their people, Courtney's their people, Leanne's their people. There is somebody else out there that is their people. And that's fine with me. I don't need everybody to like me. And guess what? Tim's people aren't my people. My people aren't Tim's people. That's okay. But guess what? My people can learn from Tim. Tim's people can learn from me, right? I am never having the mindset, and maybe Tim, you can touch base on this, having a scarcity mindset of mine, 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 mine. Mine, 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 mine. It's about giving, 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 and receiving, because your people will purchase from you. Your tribe will follow you, and they will want you to be the chosen one. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Hope that totally makes sense. So attraction marketing would be something along the lines of, and feel free to go to my Facebook timeline and use anything that you want. Like, I am an open book. All I ask is you just, put it in your own words. If you don't use emojis and you go and throw my post on your timeline and you are a person who doesn't use emojis, people are going to be like, that's not authentic. That Tim, that is not Tim. I'll say Mandy McTiernan, because she doesn't use emojis. She's like, crosses her T's and dots her I's and periods and all the fancy grammar. And I'm like, emoji, let's dance, let's party. So if Mandy was to take one of my posts and put it on her Instagram, people are going to be like, ooh, what is this? So you want to be authentic to you. But know that anything you guys see on my Facebook, you guys will, you guys can take and put it into your own or use it. Like, I'm an open book. Whatever helps me grow will help you grow too. But also take a look at how specifically strategic I am when it comes to my business, when it comes to my life. Now, I'm not asking you to be as vulnerable as me. It's taken me couple of years to get to the point to share my trials to triumphs, to share that I'm not perfect, that I don't have the perfect body, that I don't have the perfect teeth, that I don't have the perfect hair, that I didn't have the perfect mindset. Because I'll tell you right now, friends, I have quit this business more than anybody. I have restarted this business more than anybody. I have had comparitis. You guys ever compared yourself to other people? Like, I can't top me. Done that. Been there, done that. I've written an entire book on why I like to procrastinate, right? I'm the queen of excuses. And I like to share that with people. So know that that's me. But what I do want you to start seeing on my timeline or on Tim's is that authentic value, right? I share stories about what pawTree did for me. I did a story about my dog Cedar, who's been on pawTree for 8 years since I got him. He's just pawTree strong. And he's been on the core 4. And without knowing it, I've been a proactive pet parent. Like, people want to see how these products are changing lives, not that these products, like, hey, buy my joint support for however much it costs. People want to know how that joint support changed the lives of somebody. So I attract people to me. I go out, I make 5 to 10, 15 new Facebook friends all of the time, because I want new people to see what I'm doing, because they're going to come to me. I'm going to go, let's say I've got Jeep friends. I'm a part of a local Jeep group here. And guess what? As I bring my Jeep friends into my circle, they're going to see that I do pet nutrition. And guess what? They all have pets. So I am able to utilize that. And they're like, oh my gosh, she likes Jeeps and she does pet nutrition. Dude, she's my gal. I'm going to go get this from her right now. And I have gotten a lot of sales that have wowed me simply by using this strategy of attraction marketing and building new friends. Now, Amy has 9 new pet pros. She is, I sponsored her a couple of months ago, and she's totally inspiring. Remember when Tim said there's nothing can fix a problem like sponsoring a new pet pro? Amy was that for me. And guess what? I'm chasing her on the leaderboard. Her and I are doing things differently. Now, if you look at mine, I have 6 pet pros. I sponsored one about 10 minutes prior to jumping on this live. Now, my 6 pet pros are nothing short of the work that I put in last month and the month before and the month before and the month before and the month before and the month before. Okay. The work that I have put in every single month is what is helping me to be able to bring on more people today than I did maybe last month, because it's all about getting out there and sharing and having authentic conversations, right? So if I'm talking to, and I can tell you right now, I'm talking to over 400 people a month. That's an average of 35 people a day. Those 35 people a day consist of customers asking for referrals. It consists of new Facebook friends. It consists of follow-ups. That consists of finding people, means I'm asking for sales. That's 35 connections a day that I am dedicated to my business. But don't compare yourself to me, because this is what I've retired myself doing. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to share this, but since our teams, like, making over $5,000 a month from the comfort of my own home, from my cell phone, being consistent has taken me a long time to get to where I'm at, right? That's not where Tim and I are stopping making this type of money, because we want $10, $15, $20,000 a month. But again, it's all about being able to find people to talk to and be willing to do these things. And there's times that Tim and I not wanted to do this. There's times where we wake up and we're like, I don't want to do my pawTree business today. But guess what? We do it because our why is so strong that we're going to go out and we're going to do some of these things that we don't want to do. I love this. Oh, I don't know who this is. Facebook.
I think it's Amy, isn't it?
Is it Amy? Let me go to my live and see if it is. Oh, it is. It's Amy. Look, we're talking about Amy. So this is Amy. Amy, if you'll go out of the live, click on the StreamYard link and give StreamYard permission to see you. We actually did a team call on Monday night about sponsoring, and it was literally talking about how I twisted her arm and slapped her into submission to join this business. But in all reality, it was literally how she stalked me for months. And so this is really true. When she says, I had your page been blank or no personality, I would have never reached out. This is simply because I chose to show up as me, and she chose me out of all these pet pros that are out there. And I feel really special about this. But it wasn't because she just picked me because of what I had. It was because we had a connection. She had a connection with me before she joined this business. And now that we've been in this business together, we discovered that our lives are super similar, from our kids' age to the things we do, to the things we like, to the way we love Jesus and God and all of the things, right? And so it was divine connection to come in. So attraction marketing is a really big thing for me. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's super helpful. Let's see, what else am I missing? Should I just dive into the list, Tim?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. So again, hopefully this is recording. I'm going to go fast because we've been on here. Oh, we're good on time. We've been on here for a while, but friends and family, I will tell you that friends and family could either work really well for you or not really well for you. What's been your experience with friends and family, Tim?
So when I started pawTree in the beginning, everyone in my life I feel like had a bad taste with direct sales. So I did not even talk. Like at first I was terrified. I was like, my friends and family, I don't want them to know what I'm doing at all. And then when people started hearing a little bit about it, they were like, what are you doing? But then they started watching me because again, I was consistent. And then after a while, they're like, wow, what are you doing? So I would share my wins with him, and I was intentional about sharing my wins with them. And then just like after now, everyone's like, why didn't we start that 5 years ago? So it gets to that point. But I did not start with friends and family because I had a lot of negativity around direct sales. However, now a lot of them have done this at one point or another, or they do it in small ways in their own way. So there's a lot of friends and family that I have in here. And I will say my biggest sponsoring month when our team exploded, that was that first month. I was like, okay, called my brother. Okay, who do you know? He called his friends. Who do they know? College friends. College people are great people to do this. So it's like, it really sparked, and it was friends and family during that first dollar month that I finally was like, okay, let's spread this out there. Why don't you want to try this for $1? Might as well try it. So.
I very similar. I had a lot of people tell me no. They're like, okay, you don't even have a dog. You don't have a dog. How are you gonna? Well, I need your dog to tell me how the products are. Like, don't make this harder than what it is. And so friends did really well. And then they didn't, right? And then family never did really well in the beginning, but now they're all pawTree customers and all their dogs have wings, right? It is something that comes and go depending on what works for you. Like Tim had said, he had a hesitation around the industry itself, which is very common. But if you're willing to not do that and pick cold marketing options, you're going to be just fine. You just have to be willing to choose other options to build your business. Another great way to find people to talk to is memory joggers. Get online, Google memory joggers, pull up a list, grab a piece of paper, sit down, read the memory joggers, and you will be amazed at the list of people that pop up. Another strategy I've used is you take a piece of paper and you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way down. And then you go through your Facebook, your phone, and people that you can remember, and you literally put their name. Have I talked to pawTree? Have I talked to Amy about this? Nope, I'm going to put Amy down. And I create a list from nothing, because what this does is it helps you to break out of your brain and realize that there are people that you can talk to. You just don't want to talk to them because that's what's holding you back, right? Go through your phone. Go through your phone. Go through your phone. Go through your husband's phone. I went through my children's phones. If you have older children, they have friends that all have dogs that need to hear from you. That's another one. Obviously, Facebook contacts. You can grow this by 10 a day, 10 a week, whatever you choose to do. Grow your social media, your TikTok following, do a challenge. Like Tim had said, like go out there, pick 10 products and add value through TikToks. Like don't overthink it. Don't stress about it. Just go do it, because that's going to make the difference in your business. Vendor events in person or online. Asking referrals, like Tim had said, local business networking groups, lifestyle networking. Where do you go all of the time that you can talk to people? Pet sitters do really well with lifestyle networking, really well. But compliment, connect, ask, start talking to people. I love when I'm in the grocery store and there's a guy in front of me with a big giant bag of dog food. And I'm like, do you have a cat? And they're like, no, I have a dog. Did you miss the giant 30-pound bag of pedigree in my cart? And I look at him and I'm like, haha, just kidding. Tell me about your dog. Why do you feed this food? Do you like this food? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pet does on this diet? And they'll look at me and they're like, what? And I'll be like, I do pet nutrition for him for a living. I have to ask. Oh, you do? Yeah. And I have conversations by fitting it into my lifestyle, going to the bank. My butcher is a Paw Club customer and has been on joint support for probably 5 years, because my butcher at the Smith's local grocery market is where I spend most of my time, because I love cooking, right? So what are you doing in your lifestyle that you can add this to that? Social media, Alignable, LinkedIn. Those are some other online avenues. Email marketing. Start making an email list. Michelle McCullough talks about this all the time in Marketing 101 in PTU. Start getting everybody's email. Get everybody on an email for the next 12. That's 12 months of products. We have 12 products. You could create 12 emails on Gmail, set it, forget it, and boom, you've got email marketing, because somebody might hear your message today but not need you until 11 months. And if 11 months an email pops up, they may have had a dog that had diarrhea the week before, and they're like, oh, I need Elka. I need Tim right now. Thanks for sending me that email, right? So it's just keeping, how can you, what is it, Tim? Keeping yourself and other people's awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's another one. How bad do you want this? Are you willing to go door to door in your neighborhood? How bad do you want this? It's kind of like if my kids come to me, they're like, Ilka, Mom, my kids' friends will come to me too. And they'll say, what's the quickest way to make $100? I'm like, grab the lawnmower. No, I don't want to do that. Why? Because it's hard and it's hot outside. How bad do you want that $100? I've told people who have wanted to join this business that said they didn't have money. And I'm like, how bad do you want it? Go mow a lawn. How bad do you want this business? Church communities. I know a lot of pet pros who have dug into their church communities and have gained very large organizations because of it. Lead generation through social media. Attend meetings and seminars that your prospects might attend. Like I may not have a vendor event table at, what is it? Like a healthy conference for gluten-free expos and all these healthy conferences, the gym, right? All these different places where healthy people hang out. Go and attend meetings and workshops and seminars where these people do it, because humans, like Roger says it, if they're taking omegas and joint support and they're doing this in a probiotic to keep their bodies healthy, the odds of them doing that for their pet are going to be 10 times more likely, right? Use direct mail. Friends, this is a lost art. How many of you guys like receiving something in the mail besides a bill? Throw some paw prints down in the chat if y'all like receiving something in the mail that's not a bill. Get out. You can ask for referrals through direct mail. You could send your customers a $5 gift card for the referrals that they give. Send out a flyer. That's a good one. Neighborhood contacts. Mandy McTiernan, I'll use her. She does a yard sale like twice a year and sets up I think she does it just for her pawTree business. And I wish she was on YouTube right now. She's actually here in Utah. We're going to see each other later today, but I'm really excited about it. I wish she was here. But she'll do a yard sale and set up her pawTree table, and she'll market this yard sale for weeks and weeks. And she's got more pawTree stuff than she does yard sale items, right? But it's a great way to bring people into your awareness. Once a month, you guys could host a Bring Love Home presentation, or put together a pet nutrition class. Invite your team, bring a bunch of people to it. Listen to a training on Brooke Sloat and take notes and share that information that you've learned with people, right? And then ask them to buy. Like, it really is this simple. Don't overthink where you can find people. Contact pet professionals, groomers, pet sitters. Again, this is a great one for the cold market prospecting that Tim does that you can find in the Facebook groups. But bottom line is, it's really important to stay visible. Stay visible all of the time. Stay visible on social media. Stay visible in your community groups. Whatever any of these fit you, just stay visible. And it gives people an opportunity to find you. Does that make sense? So there you go, Tim. There's my list that I've put together. What would you like to add?
I mean, there's not much to add to that. That was just super, super great. If someone watched this video and like Elka said earlier, still thinks that they don't have anyone to talk to, then let me be the first one to tell you you're crazy. Just kidding. There's just so many people out there, so many brain joggers that Elka mentioned. Like, there's even more ways you can think of people that even like going through that first letter of their name. You can think of like, who is pet sitters that I know, who is a vet tech, who is like, there's so many different things. Who is a business owner? Who can I ask? Like, successful people know successful people. So another great place to find referrals, just find successful and talk to successful people that you know. So much value that was added here. And if you guys found value, please put it in the comments, because we'll be back next week. And next week we're gonna talk about mindset. And both Elka and I have had immense mindset growth journeys. So we'll talk some about that next week.
Yes. And if you guys have anything that you want to hear, or any questions that you have that you think could be a really fun, Wednesday afternoon chit chat, let us know. Comment below. We're always looking for ideas, and we're here to support your success. So if we don't know what you need, we can't help you. Okay. All right. Signing off, guys. Tim and I say peace out like trout. Kiss all your fur babies on the snout.
Bye, everyone.